I hate being alone. Actually, wait, no, scratch that. I like being alone. Sometimes. I like having my own space. I like not having to explain myself. I like quiet mornings and driving around when no one else is in the car. I don't hate being alone. I hate feeling lonely. And those two things are not the same. Being alone is physical. Lonely is more emotional. Being alone is sitting in your room by yourself. Lonely is sitting in a room full of people and feeling like nobody really sees you. That's the part I hate. Because loneliness is sneaky. It doesn't always show up when you expect it to. Sometimes it hits at night when everything is quiet and there's nothing distracting you from your own thoughts. Sometimes it hits you after you leave a hangout that was actually fun. You get in your car, close the door, and suddenly it's just silent. And you just sit there for a second, longer than you need to. And you don't even know why. It's this weird emptiness, like something is missing, but you can't name what it is. I think what makes loneliness worse is that it makes you question things. You start asking yourself, do people really know me? Or do they just know the version of me I show them? Do they know what I overthink at 2 a.m.? Or the stuff I don't say out loud? Or am I just convenient background noise in everyone else's life? And I know that sounds dramatic, but loneliness doesn't care if it's dramatic. It just shows up and sits with you. And what's crazy is that you can have friends, good friends too. You can laugh, go out, be surrounded by people, and still feel lonely. Because loneliness isn't about how many people are around you. It's about connection, real connection. The kind where you don't have to filter yourself. The kind where you don't feel like you're performing. The kind where you can say, hey, I'm not okay, without worrying you're being too much. And sometimes I realize the reason I feel lonely is because I don't always let people in. I'll talk, I'll joke, I'll be there for everyone else, but when it's my turn, I minimize. I'm good, it's nothing. I'm just tired, I'll say. And then I wonder why nobody understands me deeply. But I mean, how could they? I gave them the highlight reel. Loneliness has this way of making you feel small, like you're somehow separate from the world. Like everyone else is connected by invisible strings and you're just slightly outside of it. Close enough to see it, but not close enough to feel it. And the worst part? You can't always explain it. You can't text someone and say, hey, I feel vaguely disconnected from existence tonight. Like, that just doesn't exactly roll off the tongue. So you distract yourself. You scroll, you watch something, you listen to music that feels a little too relatable. You tell yourself that it'll pass with time. And sometimes it does. But sometimes it lingers. And it makes you question your worth in subtle ways. Not in a loud, I hate myself way. More like you thinking to yourself, if I disappeared for a while, how long would it take for someone to actually notice? And that's honestly a scary thought. Not because you want to disappear, but because you're testing your significance. Loneliness makes you measure your impact. And I think a lot of people are quietly lonely. We're more connected than ever in today's society. We have constant notifications, group chats, stories, updates, social media. And yet somehow, it's still possible to feel unseen. Because being perceived isn't the same as being understood. You can have people watching you. That doesn't mean they actually know you. And sometimes I think the hardest part about loneliness is just, admitting it. Because there's this pressure to be independent, to be strong, to not need anyone. And I don't need someone every second. But I do need connection. We all do. We're not built to do this alone. And I think that's why it hurts so much. Because loneliness just feels unnatural. Like something inside you is wired for closeness and it's just not getting it. It's like emotional hunger. You could ignore it for a while, you can distract yourself, but eventually it comes back. And I don't want to be someone who's afraid of being alone. I want to enjoy my own company. I want to be at peace in silence. But I also don't want to pretend that I don't crave deeper connection. I don't want to act like it's weak to want to be understood. Because it's not weak, it's just human. And maybe the reason loneliness hurts so much is because it means you care. It means you want more than just surface level interactions. It means you want to be known. And that's not something to be ashamed of. Maybe the goal isn't to eliminate loneliness completely. Maybe it's just to stop running from it. To just sit with it sometimes. To ask it what it's trying to tell you. Sometimes it's telling you to reach out. Or open up. Sometimes it's telling you that you've just been pretending you're fine for too long. And pretending you're fine slowly starts to hollow you out. Because at first it's small. You'll say, I'm good, when you're not. You change the subject when it gets too close to something real. And you tell yourself it's not lying, it's just managing. But after a while, you don't even know what the truth sounds like anymore. You forget how to answer honestly when someone asks you how you're doing. Because the real answer feels too heavy. And you don't want to be heavy. You don't want to be the person who shifts the mood. So you shrink it. You shrink your feelings, your needs, your loneliness. And loneliness loves that. It grows best in small, silent spaces. It grows when you convince yourself that your feelings are inconvenient. It grows when you sit in your room at night and stare at the ceiling and feel that weight on your chest. And instead of naming it, you just scroll until you're numb. Loneliness isn't dramatic. It's quiet. It's the feeling of sending a text and staring at it, hoping it turns into something more than just LOL or yeah. It's checking your phone not because you expect a notification, but because you wish you did. It's being around people and still feeling like you're slightly outside of the moment. Like you're there, but not fully in it. Like there's a layer of glass between you and everyone else. And sometimes it gets darker than that. Sometimes loneliness whispers things that don't even sound like your own voice. It tells you that you're forgettable, that you're just background noise, that if you stopped reaching out first, the silence would stretch longer than you're comfortable admitting. And you hate yourself a little for thinking that way, because you know it's not completely fair. But loneliness doesn't care about fairness. It cares about isolation. It makes you question your value in rooms where no one has actually questioned it. It makes you doubt connections that might be real, because you can't feel them as deeply as you want to. And the worst part? You can be needed and still feel lonely. You can show up for people, be reliable, be supportive, be strong, and still go home and feel like no one really sees you. Because being dependent on isn't the same as being understood. And sometimes I wonder if I built this. If I got so used to being the stable one, the easy one, the I'm fine one, that I forgot how to let anyone see when I'm not. Because when you never let people see the cracks, they assume there aren't any. And then you start resenting them for not noticing. Even though you're the one hiding it. That's the twisted part. Loneliness makes you both the victim and the architect. It makes you crave connection but fear exposure. It makes you want someone to ask deeper questions, but when they do, you deflect. Because what if they see too much? What if they don't like what they find? So you stay halfway known. And halfway known is a lonely place to live. And there are nights, the quiet ones, where it hits harder. When the world slows down, when there's no distractions left. When the noise fades away, and you're just alone with your thoughts. And that's when the questions come. Not loud, not dramatic, just persistent. If I stopped trying so hard, would anyone try back? If I disappeared for a while, how long would it take for someone to notice something was off? Am I actually connected to people, or just orbiting them? And I hate those questions, because they feel dangerous. Not because I want to disappear, but because loneliness makes you measure your importance, and that's a brutal thing to measure. I hate feeling lonely. I hate how it makes the world feel slightly colder. I hate how it turns silence into something heavy instead of peaceful. I hate how it convinces you that you're isolated even when you technically aren't. But maybe the darkest part of loneliness is how normal it starts to feel. How you adjust to it. How you build routines around it. How you tell yourself this is just how it is. And that's what scares me. Not the feeling itself, but the possibility of getting used to it. Of accepting a surface level existence because it's safer than risking depth. Of convincing myself that I don't need more because asking for more feels vulnerable. I don't want to become numb to it. I don't want to stop craving connection just to avoid the disappointment of not having it. Because as much as loneliness hurts, it also proves something. It proves that I still want to be seen. That I still care about connection. That I haven't completely shut down. And maybe that's the thin line of hope in all of this. Not a bright, shiny, motivational kind of hope. Just a quiet one. The kind that says, you wouldn't feel this empty if you didn't believe something fuller was possible. Maybe loneliness isn't telling me I'm unimportant. Maybe it's telling me I'm starving for something real. And starvation hurts, but it also means you're still alive enough to feel hunger. I hate feeling lonely, but I think I'd be more afraid of the day it stops bothering me. because that would mean I stopped wanting connection, and I don't want that. I mean, I don't think anyone does. So maybe the answer isn't to run from loneliness. Maybe it's just to stop pretending it's not there. To stop saying I'm fine when I'm not. And to stop risking being seen instead of perfectly composed. Because maybe the only thing darker than loneliness is silence. And I'm tired of being silent about it.